BOP. What is it? Why do we have it? And more importantly, how do you police it?
What is a racing car? Power, aerodynamic, and the mass.
What do you do when it rains?
The fastest lap time, the average of 60% and the top speed. Sensor, which is going directly on the shaft.
Le Mans is a different monster, let's say. The ratio about power, aerodynamics, weight at Le Mans is way different to all the WEC tracks.
So you guys get to see who has truly the fastest car then. We're here to talk about BOP, the balance of performance. Those of you that are familiar with sports car racing will know that terminology very well, but we're here to find out exactly what it is and why we have it. Thanks to the help of Thomas and Thierry from the ACO and the FIA respectively. Starting with you, Thomas. So we have the BOP in WEC, in the World Endurance Championship. That balance of performance exists. But are there any other types of racing that we have?
Yeah, basically there is three types of racing. So the BOP performance, we have WEC, we have cross-country, we have other categories where we try to balance a bit. We'll come back to this later. There is two other categories. The classic rules, which are Formula 1, WRC, there is just technical rules and we are racing with it. And then we have the single make. A single make is obviously all the drivers racing with the same car. You are forced to use that same car and we are only fighting on driver skills.
So this would be categories like
Form F2, F3, most of time junior categories, or single make like Ferrari Challenge, Porsche Cup.
Thierry, if we focus on BOP first and foremost here, balance of performance, what is it, why do we have it, and more importantly, how do you police it?
Why do we have it? The chances in WEC, we've got hypercar and GT racing. In hypercar, we've got different type of cars, like hybrid, no hybrid, four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive. In GT racing, we even have front engine, rear engine, all sorts of different cars. So we need to balance, to make those cars racing together, and to be able to do that, that's why we use BOP, to help those cars compete together. Another argument about BOP, it also helps to avoid escalation of cost.
So Thomas, when it comes to policing it, making sure that all of the cars are as equal as they possibly can be, how do you achieve that?
So in a way we focus on the main performance parameter of the cars. What is a racing car? A racing car is an engine that we have to police power. Racing car has downforce, aerodynamic, and the mass. And all these parameters determine what we call performance windows, and all the cars have to fit into those windows. There is the tires, there is the execution, driver skills. All this is not managed. So first we are monitoring the power. So for this we are using a nice sensor which is going directly on the shaft that is bringing the power to the wheel, which we call a torque sensor, which is basically measuring the power released by the engine. Second thing, aerodynamic. We are fitting each single car in a wind tunnel to take a lot of measurement and to characterize the aerodynamic of the car. Then we are making sure that they are all in the same window and then adapting it to the track.
And that's in the same wind tunnel?
Same wind tunnel, exactly the same process for each single car. Yeah, full scale, it's a real car that we are putting in the wind tunnel. And then the mass, obviously we are putting the car on the scales like on any racing series to make sure that we are at the balanced mass. And all these three parameters are adjusted on a race-by-race basis to make sure that we are balancing the field independently of all the parameters that have been precised by Thierry earlier.
When it comes to monitoring that performance over many races in the championship, is there like some kind of rolling average that you look at?
Yeah, definitely. We are looking at the performance of each car on the three last races. So basically we are averaging the performance on the three last races of each car, and then we are taking into consideration the specificity of the specific track we are going on to make sure that all this is adapted from the three last races to the race we are racing on this weekend.
And you're looking at, what, just the fastest lap time that's done, or?
The fastest lap time, the average of the 60% lap time, so a lot of laps, and the top speed.
And you're taking away, I guess, therefore, like laps that don't count in that, so traffic and things.
Obviously, there is a lot of treatment that is done on the data, a huge quantity of data that are cleaned to make sure that we are taking only the right ones to assess the real performance of the cars.
So it started raining here, therefore, in terms of that rolling average of 3 races, what do you do when it rains?
We check races eligibility. So for example, we need to have at least 60% of the race when it's done on dry conditions. Otherwise, we feel that the race is not eligible and we cannot integrate the race performance into the calculations.
And so where does Le Mans fit into all of this? The big race in June that everyone wants to win. How does that fit into the balance of performance? Who wants to answer that?
I take it. Le Mans is a different monster, let's say. Obviously, Le Mans track is a unique track. The ratio about power, aerodynamics, weight at Le Mans is way different to all the WEC tracks. So what we do in WEC is one process, and what we do on Le Mans is a different process. So basically for Le Mans, we just simply apply the homologation parameters. What is homologation parameters? As Thomas explained, is what we do get from when we go to the wind tunnel. So we analyze really the wind tunnel things, and we do focus on applying it straight to Le Mans. We do the same for the weight and same for the power.
In terms of the drivers, how do you measure the weight of all the different drivers when they're all sharing the same car? They all come in different shapes and sizes.
So we spoke about taking care about the weight of the car, but we do also care about the weight of the drivers. We don't look at them individually, but as a driver lineup, we make sure that the average of the 3 driver weight is equal from car to car, such as they can produce the same, or they have the opportunity to produce the same performance out there.
It's always been like this in the WEC that the smaller drivers always had a massive advantage. It's a good 25 kilos, so maybe the smallest guys in the paddock compared to the bigger guys in the paddock. So for me, it's a great rule, and it makes the playing field much closer.
We know with these hypercars, it's extremely sensitive to the weight effect. So I think it's made it definitely more fair, especially for the qualifying, where actually everyone is the same weight. So I think it was really important that the championship made the decision to apply this rule.
There's lots of tall drivers on the grid, there's lots of shorter drivers on the grid, and depending on your height, there's only so low that you can go in your weight. Also from a safety point of view, it's great that the FIA have now equalised it. I think it creates a level playing field for all drivers, and when it comes to opportunities as well for contracts. In the past, teams have gone, well, you know, he's too hard, he's too tall, or he's too heavy. I think it's fantastic, certainly for myself, because I was probably one of the ones who was at more of a disadvantage before. Maybe if you ask someone who was shorter, they would say otherwise.
For sure, you had a small advantage with the weight, especially me, because I'm one of the lightest of the grid. But for example, for qualifying, now everybody is on the same level, so there is no more differences.
Last year, you would probably put your lighter driver in, whereas this year in qualifying, you really can pick drivers purely based on who's feeling the best this weekend around this track, who maybe knows this track better, who's had a better preparation in the free practices.
So you guys get to see who has truly the fastest car then? But you're not going to tell me.
We're not going to tell you, but for sure we have an incredible view on all these pieces of technology that we have on the grid. But obviously there is a very tight fight there that is monitored by the championship.
For me, that's what makes the World Endurance Championship so special. Cars that look different, sound different, but actually compete at a very similar level. So thank you for all of your work. And for anyone that wants to see more content like this, focus on the FIA YouTube channel and also their online content as well.